Well, welcome to that summertime series, y'all. Part
Oh,
two.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, this is All the Everything Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Billy Parchman, and I am here with my bud, Mr. Tim Sawhook. What's going on, Tim? Whoop, whoop.
Not much, man. Just loving the summer series. This has been fun.
Yeah.
What we thought of at the beginning is doing like these mini-year episodes, which they really haven't turned out to be that many, but kind of have really turned into fun for us. Some creative
Yeah.
fun. Everybody loves summertime, right? I mean, there's a different kind of fun in the air. People are excited about vacations or just being out of school.
Yes.
Unfortunately, parents are still working, but that's just part of the game. But summertime overall, it's a good vibe. It's nicer weather. It does get hot and crazy in different places, but overall the vibe is good. Everyone's down for the summer vibes, as you'll see on every kind of Instagram post or t-shirt or whatever. It's all about the summer vibes, right, Billy?
That's right. The summertime, y'all. Yep.
Woo!
That's right.
I just want some sweet tea and sit on a back porch in a rocking chair.
Yep. Hope
Talking
skeeters
about
don't
the
get
old,
you.
yeah, watching out for them and talking about the good old days.
That's right. Oh man. But yeah, we love getting to go to the pool. We love getting to, just go around and do things and have fun and then
Yeah.
have a couple of chill days here and there where we just veg out and don't get out of our
Yeah.
pajamas because we can.
That's true. Summertime gives you permission to do things you don't do the rest of the year.
That's right.
It's almost like you're taking the summer off, quote unquote, because it's
Right.
different schedules. For you, it's not dance every 5 seconds. For most people, it's not
yeah.
sports. And, there is a lot of sports in the summer, don't get me wrong, but maybe it's a step back from that. And it's a good way to I used to love when the kids got out of school for summertime, especially when I was a stay-at-home dad, because we'd always pick them up in the van and I always would write on the outside on like those erasable markers, like you graduated from 2nd grade to 3rd grade, or woohoo, summertime, going on vacation, Disney bound, anything we were doing coming up soon as school was over. Always made me so excited for the kids, because I remember how I felt growing up and having that summertime. It seems like anything can happen in the summertime, right?
That's right.
Well, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Are you ready, my friend?
You better believe it. Let's get into all the everything, y'all.
All the everything, we've got it all. We've got it all, small, weird, or tall. So grab your snacks, sit back, don't stress, cause Tim and Billy talk about the randomness. Formation prone to UFOs, we'll take you where the weirdness goes. It's two guys talking way too loud about stuff that makes no sense, but we're kinda proud.
Well, welcome back to another amazing episode of All the Everything Podcast. As always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Tim Sawhook, and I'm joined by the man who loves summertime, like some iced tea in his rocking chair down south. Like he said before, trying to hide from the mosquitoes. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you summertime Billy Parchman.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Hey,
so tell me if you could describe what summertime Billy Parchman's like opposed to normal Billy Parchman.
He's just as cool. I mean, come on. Yeah, no.
If not cooler, because it gives you excuses to go out and give kids ice cream just on a normal Tuesday morning, right?
Man. Oh, we can go down to summer snow. Oh, we have the best. If you ever come to Tuscaloosa in the summertime, summer snow is where it's at. Like like at a snowball, they have the best ice. It's all about the ice. When you get those made, it's perfection. Summer snow, it's a Tuscaloosa institution. So
got it.
Yeah. Oh man, if it wasn't raining right now, gosh, we've had like 18 inches of rain the last like month. It's ridiculous, but
yeah, nonstop rain. Same here.
Yeah, and so, but when it gets pretty, I'm gonna get a snow cone, y'all. Sounds good.
Is there a go-to flavor for snow cones, by the way?
What I like to get the Bahama Mama on one side, and I like to get the Tiger Blood on the other. It's really good. It's super good.
I think I've had the Tiger Blood, or the kids did, but what's the Bahama Mama?
It's just like
flavor,
like a tropical flavor. It's kind of like it's red. It's more on the, I guess, the strawberry side of things, but they blend well. And you don't know which side is which because they're the same color.
But you know the difference.
Oh yeah, it's so good, so good.
And then after that, you have to erase the history off your tongue because you can't tell people well you hadn't been to the snow cone place when your tongue's red, tiger blood red.
Oh man, and we look forward to that opening on Facebook post every year. We go every single year. They put out, hey, we're opening today for the season. We are there that afternoon. As soon as Michelle gets off of work, that is like a tradition.
Okay.
Oh, so good.
For us, our local place is called Whip-de-Doo. Whip-de-Doo. And that's the place where Luke and Lauren both worked all the way through high school and also into college just a little bit.
I remember
they started when they were 15. It's owned by an amazing husband and wife. They're so good. They treat the kids like they're kids. They're hiring probably around 15 or so. They treat them so well. They pay them well. It's a great leadership. You know, I mean, you can't get any better. And then for us, the ice cream and the different creations, the secret menus they have, all the things is our go-to. And we even take the dogs because they'll give them little doggy sundaes.
Oh my god!
Which is just a teeny little cup with some vanilla, and they put a dog treat on it, and our dogs go nuts for doggy sundaes. So, yeah, we're the same way. They only close down for like a little bit. They close down for maybe like 2 months. Like,
nice.
Do pop-ups in December a little bit for a pop-up weekend or whatever. But
yeah,
they kill it. It's an institution here. And smartly enough, when they got the place, it's literally across the street from a major park where there's nothing but soccer tournaments, baseball tournaments, football practice.
Yeah,
so it's a gold mine. Like you're leaving practice and you're going right across the street. So it's good for them. They're amazing people and great owners. So yeah, I had to give Whip-de-Doo a plug out there.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. So when I come up, we'll go there.
Oh yeah, we will.
Yeah,
and we'll get you some of the secret menu items.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But anyhow,
okay.
Well, being summertime in the summertime series, we have something today that just goes hand in hand with summertime, Billy. What are we talking about?
Well, today we are going to be sitting around that campfire, and we're going to be maybe getting a little spooky. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we're going to be sharing some of those great campfire stories. You know, I remember I took this camp counseling class in college. It was this awesome class where we learned how to become like camp counselors or how to run that. And our final exam was we partnered with this like local high school, and we took them on a camping trip, and we had to plan the whole camping trip all night. And that was our final exam. And so we did share campfire stories. And I remember this one guy sharing this one story and it being like super spooky and like freaking me out. Like it is how good it was.
Yeah.
Like, but he scared these kids so bad that multiple ones would refuse to go to sleep. And so we had to have a couple of us stay up all night hanging out with them because they wouldn't go to bed because they were so scared.
How old were the kids?
Oh, they were high school age. They were like,
okay, so they weren't really younger either. Okay,
yeah, and it was shocking. And I wish I remembered that story because I would love to share it with you because I remember it being like freaking me out. And but yeah, we love some campfire stories, and we thought this would be a fun summertime. We like a little spooky, and so let's share some of these with y'all.
Before we get into the stories, though, Billy, we got to talk about things that go hand in hand with a campfire. And that for us is the food.
Yeah.
Food for a campfire is everything. And we know the most common, most popular food for a campfire is what?
S'mores.
S'mores, as he says it. So let's talk about s'mores for a second here. We have a big fire pit out back, and when we first did it and the kids were young, they want to do fires all the time. But I started realizing as soon as the s'mores were gone, so were they. And they'd head to the house and it'd just be me out there with Leslie. And Leslie, you could tell she always wanted to go in, but she kind of stayed for a supportive role and be like, oh, this is great. This is great. I'm like, just get out of here.
Just go.
I know you don't want to be out here. And it'd be all the time you invested in making the fire. So it's great and has a good foundation. All that. That's gone out the window as soon as the s'mores are gone. But talking about s'mores, there's a traditional s'mores, which is what's the original recipe, Billy?
You get your chocolate bar, you get your mellow, and you get your graham crackers.
And how do you? Let's just. This is a question you ask a lot of people, and you're gonna get different answers.
Yeah.
How do you roast your marshmallow? What's your technique?
Mine. Okay, I hate on fire mellows. Right? Like
Yeah.
I don't like it burnt. I don't like the where it turns all black. I take my marshmallow and put it above the flames.
Okay.
Heat that bad boy up. Get it soft. Get it a little golden, if you will.
Yeah.
And then, but hot enough where it still gives you that like
nice
melted
marshmallow
flavor.
pool.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And so that's how I like to roll.
Okay, I am the same thing with you. I don't like them burnt. Now I've eaten burnt ones before because it happens, right? It's life. Yeah. But I like to do it different than you. So above, I like to get it down close by the coals where it necessarily isn't a flame, but it's just like a hot coal. So you're turning it over slowly.
Okay.
But you get too close, then it catches on fire.
Sure.
But taking it slow and getting the same kind of thing. A little crispy on the outside, nothing burnt, but super gooey on the inside. And
but you like to live dangerously.
Yes. It's like flying too close to the sun. It's always like that. It's that fine line between glorious and burnt.
Yeah.
And I have to give Leslie the credit. She's always been the candy or s'mores maker. Always. Like she always prepares the graham, the chocolate. She has them like parceled out for everybody.
Yeah.
And for years we've been coming at her with hot pokers in her face. Like, here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Pull out quick, really fast. Put the marshmallow in there. Like, so somehow, by the grace of God, she's never been burned to death by us coming with our hot, flaming marshmallows right in her face. So thank you, Leslie, for always being our s'mores maker.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we almost got stabbed. They had a fire pit, and they did marshmallow roasting at that Christmas resort we were at in Pigeon Forge last week. Yeah, Michelle almost got the double. They had the double prongs.
Oh, yeah.
Stabbed by a couple of little ones, overexcited. This last weekend.
With our s'mores, though, and the kids have changed over the years. Very few. Leslie does the traditional one, but Luke and Lauren and I, we either like doing them with a Reese cup or with a Kit Kat.
Oh, I've never tried Kit Kat before.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Both are glorious.
Yeah.
Both are glorious. So give those a try. I've heard some people doing them with mint chocolate chip, putting like a mint Hershey's on there.
Yeah.
Doing that. But I haven't tried that myself.
Oh.
And then we've also experimented from time to time with roasting hot dogs out there by the fire, but that's not very common. We don't do that a lot. Maybe if we actually go camping, and we can talk about those stories at a different time. But today, like Billy said, we're all about campfire stories, and I'm going to let Billy kick it off for us today. Let's get the chills and thrills going.
Ooh.
Make you question what everything you think is real, and if you will get some sleep tonight. Who knows?
Who knows? Ooh.
Get them, Billy. Get them.
All right. So this one is called The Third Knock. Okay. Here we go. They say where I grew up, there's an old rule. If someone knocks on your door past midnight, you only open it if they knock once. Once means emergency. Twice means neighbor. But if they knock 3 times, you do not open the door. You turn out the lights, you stay quiet, and whatever you do not let them inside. I always thought it was a little weird superstition, some creepy bedtime story to keep kids from answering the door when their parents were out, until last winter. I'd gone back to my childhood home to settle my father's estate, an isolated place, middle of nowhere, just trees and fog. Weird enough on its own, but the house had this feeling to it now. Like the walls remembered something that they didn't want to. The first night there, I lit a fire. I poured a drink. I tried to shake off the unease. But then, just past 1 a.m., there was a knock. One knock. I froze. I waited. Nothing. Relieved, I went back to my drink. And then, 2 knocks. I set my glass down. I walked to the door. I flipped on the porch light. No one there. Just wind and frost. Strange, yeah, but not terrifying. Then 3 knocks. Hard, slow, hollow, like a hand made of wood rapping against the frame. I suddenly remembered 3 knocks means don't open the door. I backed away. I turned off the light. I slid the bolt in place. I did not sleep. The next night, the same thing.
Oh.
1 knock, 2, and then 3. But this time it didn't stop. It kept knocking again and again. Slow, deliberate, not angry, not rushed, like it had all the time in the world. I looked through the peephole. Nothing. Then I looked through the side window and I saw something standing there outside the porch light. Too tall, no face, just a head-shaped void and arms long enough to scrape the porch railing. Its hands were all wrong. Not hands at all, more like jointed sticks wrapped in cloth. It just stood there, knocking. I turned away, and the moment I did, I heard a 4th knock, and a 5th, then a 6th. It had never done that before. I ran to the back room. I slammed the door. I hid in the dark like a little scared kid. And then I heard it again, the knocking. Not from the front door anymore. It was moving around the house.
Oh my God.
Knocking. 1 window, and then another, and then another. 7, 8, 9. It circled the house 3 times, and then silence. The next morning, I found tracks in the frost. Not footprints, just long, narrow drags, like something was crawling, but upright. I left the next day. I haven't been back, but sometimes around 1 a.m., I'll wake up in a cold sweat, not from a dream, not from a sound, just this feeling like somebody is outside waiting. And then the 3rd knock.
Oh. Oh, that's a good one. That's creepy.
Oh,
that gave me all the goosebumps, man.
all the goosies.
All the goosies, yeah. Oh, I like that one a lot.
Thank you.
The detail of the grotesque person with the arms, and then the part around that he was knocking around the whole house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Done. I'm out.
I'm gone. See ya.
Go and get out of here.
Get.
All right, that was a good one. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
My first one is called The Picture in the Wall. The Picture in the Wall. So Mike and Sarah were in love, not just with each other, but with the dream of starting fresh, building a home together. They had stayed for years, scrolling through listings and touring dozens of places until they found it, an old, slightly crooked 2-story house on the edge of town. It had good bones, as people like to say, peeling wallpaper, creaky stairs, a front porch that leaned in a little too far on the left, but it was theirs. Even if it was a little bad, it was still theirs. It sat quietly beneath a canopy of tangled trees, partially hidden behind a wall of overgrown hedges. The neighbors were scarce. The street was oddly quiet, but Mike said that meant fewer distractions, and Sarah said it made them feel peaceful. They moved in with wide eyes and even bigger dreams. Pinterest boards full of paint colors, weekend plans of knocking down walls and turning that creepy little laundry room into a cozy reading nook. They even joked about naming their first kid after the street the house sat on. I guess it's kind of weird, but like most horror stories, the first cracks didn't show in the walls, they showed in the quiet. Small things, subtle, dismissible things. Like Mike's toolbox would go missing, only to be found the next day sitting at the top of the stairs. And Sarah would swear the hallway light was flickering, even though Mike had just replaced the bulbs. More than once, she paused while brushing her teeth because she swore something faint was rumbling right beneath her feet, like tapping coming from behind the bathroom walls as well as the stairs downstairs. Ooh. Old house, Mike would say with a shrug. Old pipes, old wiring, probably mice or something in the crawl space, nothing big. But then came the bathroom renovation. They decided to tackle the upstairs bathroom one Saturday morning. It was outdated, mint green tile, rusted fixtures, that sour mildew smell, and no amount of bleach could kill it. Mike started chipping away at the tile behind the toilet near the far corner of the room. The grout there was crumbling, and one tile specifically was especially loose. And when it popped off, they found it. Behind the wall was a small cavity, maybe the size of a shoebox. At first glance, it looked just like something forgotten gap from a lazy contractor, but inside was something very deliberate. A sealed envelope, thick, yellowed from time. No name, no postage, just hidden. Mike pulled it out and handed it to Sarah. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside was a single Polaroid photo. Old, faded around the edges, but still legible. The picture showed a young girl, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years old, tied to a wooden chair. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were wide and terrified. She was in a small, dark room. No windows, no visible doors. The kind of photo that instantly fills your stomach with cold dread. And to make it worse, on the back of the Polaroid, written in thick, jagged black ink, were 7 simple words. You found her. Now find me. Sarah gasped and dropped the photo to the ground. Mike picked it up slowly, the edges sticking slightly to his sweaty fingers. This has to be some kind of sick prank, he muttered. But the air in the bathroom had changed. He could feel it, heavy, pressing, like the walls were suddenly watching. They called the police. A patrol officer arrived within an hour. He took one look at the photo, radioed it in, and then asked to speak to the detective. That's when things got even stranger. Detective Harris came by the afternoon, a tired-looking man in his 50s with coffee breath, deep circles under his eyes. He examined the photo, then the envelope. Then he looked at Mike and Sarah and said he'd seen this before. And then he said something that still makes Sarah's skin crawl. You're not the first ones to find this. He told them that over the past 2 decades, the house had been bought and sold more than any other property in the area. Families moved in, excited and hopeful, just like Mike and Sarah, but none of them stayed longer than a year. And with every new owner, every single new owner, the story was the same. Someone would eventually find that photo, not always in the same place. Sometimes it was behind a baseboard. Other times it was behind a hidden loose floorboard in the master bedroom. Once someone found it tucked inside the attic rafters in a rusted tin box. Always the same photo, always the same message. No missing person reports ever matched the girl's face. No fingerprints, no clues. The image never aged. It never changed. And worst of all, it never stayed gone. The police would take the photo, file it as evidence, and somehow, eventually, it would always come back. Detective Harris said the department had a running joke about it. They called it the house that spit secrets. But no one ever laughed when they talked about it. Mike and Sarah gave their statements, answered the detective's questions, and then watched him drive away with the photo in the evidence bag. That night, neither of them could sleep at all. They kept the lights on. Every creak made them jump. And at one point around 3 a.m., Sarah swore she had heard something scratching and scratching inside the wall behind the bathroom mirror. They left the house a week later, packed everything into a U-Haul, didn't even bother to finish patching up the tile. It's been 9 years since then. The house has gone on and off the market over a dozen times. No one ever stays long. Some buyers don't even make it past the second showing. And always, and I say again, always the photo returns. Waiting behind a wall or beneath the floorboards, always tucked away in the darkness of the attic. You found her, now find me. So here's your warning. If you ever buy an old house, if you ever start renovating and you find something hidden where it shouldn't be, ask yourself, are you ready to find her? Because she's waiting. And she's been waiting for a very, very long time.
Oh, man.
Isn't that creepy?
It's so creepy.
Ugh. Yeah, that one got me, man. Anyhow, that creeped me out, man. It gave me like all the feels and like made my hands go like fuzzy. I don't know the feeling for that, but like, yeah. Could you imagine like,
no,
not just find the envelope, but you find the picture of this girl tied up on this chair, and the thing is, you found her. Now find me. Oh no, forget it. No. And then how you explain all these pictures hidden around the house?
You're gonna have to just tear that house down. Just burn it to the ground.
Yeah, why haven't they burned this to the ground yet? I know this is a fictional story, but still,
right?
They should burn this to the ground.
Oh my
gosh. That picture doesn't show up again.
Oh man.
Whew. So that was the story about the girl in the wall.
Ooh.
In the wall. So, all right, Billy, you are up to creep us out some more.
All right. Well, this next story is The Name in the Basement. I used to live in a house with a locked door in the basement. Simple little ranch inherited from my uncle after he passed. I had always known something was, a little off with this place. Not haunted exactly, just heavy. Like the air didn't want you there. I didn't notice the door at first. It was behind an old bookshelf in the basement. One of those tall, ugly wooden ones that no one moves. But one day I did, and the door was sealed shut. Not just locked, but nailed, bolted, carved with symbols, and a word scratched deep into the wood in something dark. Never. I thought it was a joke or something from my uncle's weird occult collection. He used to study demonology, not as a believer, but as a scholar. Said demons were just a metaphor for the darker parts of our mind. But metaphors don't whisper to you at 3 a.m. That's when it started. Every night, or always the same time, the sound of something moving behind that door, dragging, scratching, breathing.
Oh my
I tried
God.
to ignore it, until I heard it say my name. It didn't come from behind the door. It came from inside my room, right next to my bed. I turned on every light in the house. I slept with a knife under my pillow. Didn't matter. Every night, 3 a.m., the voice would come. Let me out. It begged. It promised. But one night, it said something different. It said a name. A name I didn't recognize. Ancient. Too many syllables. Too many consonants. Just hearing it made my stomach churn like it was about to vomit blood. Then everything went still. And I heard a click. That door, the one behind the bookshelf, it had unlocked itself. I should have run. I should have burned the place down. But something pulled me downstairs, not by force, by invitation. The basement was colder than I ever felt it. My breath hung in the air like smoke. The door was wide open. No light inside. Just a stairwell going down. Deeper than any house should have allowed. I don't remember deciding to step inside, but I did. It wasn't a room. It was a void. A space with no walls, no ceiling, just darkness. And him. It. I couldn't see it fully, but I felt it. Like hot oil underneath my skin. Like teeth curling around my spine. It spoke without sound. It said my name again. That's impossible. Wrong name. And then it said this. You said it now. You're mine. That's all it needed. A name. That's how it gets out. That's how it gets in. I don't remember how I got out of the basement or how the door shut again. All I know is that I wake up every night at 3 a.m. and I see him. Not in dreams, not in nightmares, in mirrors, in windows, in the eyes of strangers on the street. He's waiting for someone else to say the name. I won't say it here, but if you ever find a sealed door carved with a warning, surrounded by silence, do not open it. Don't listen. Don't repeat what you hear. Because demons don't need to possess you. They just need to be remembered.
Oh, wow. That was creepy as heck, dude.
Oh, man. That was so creepy.
I like that one a lot. That's a great campfire story.
Thank you.
We'll have to share these stories with each other so we can creep out our family.
Right. Oh, my gosh. Oh.
I remember the kids always begging for stories. I'll tell you about one I used to do at the end real quick. But I'd always like look up something on the internet, and even though it was so tame, they were so young, they'd be so scared. It was awful. But that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you the story title because it kind of gives it away a little bit.
Okay,
I feel like.
sure.
Anyhow, so let's get into it. Here we go.
Let's do it.
So you know how sometimes you hear a sound at night and it's just enough to make you second guess what's going on around you? Maybe it's the house settling or a creak from the floorboards, but in the silence of the night, every little noise seems amplified. We've all been there before, right? Well, I live alone in a small apartment, just a one-bedroom place in the city. Nothing fancy, but it's all mine. I've always been pretty independent, so it doesn't bother me to be alone. In fact, I like the quiet, or at least I used to. There was something comforting about being by myself after a long day at work. But one night, everything changed. And it started with something so small, so simple, that at first, I didn't even think anything of it. You see, I have this habit. It's probably something I picked up from watching too many horror movies about every time I go into the bathroom. I always check behind the shower curtain. Now, just in case there's something hiding there. Sounds ridiculous, right? It's not like I ever expected to find anything, but it's like a reflex, something I just did every single time. It's funny because I remember making a joke about it to my friends once about how ridiculous it was. I'd say, you can never be too careful. You never know what a creepy guy will be ready to pop out from behind the curtain with a knife, just like in the movies. They'd laugh it off, of course. It wasn't something that ever happened like it could have happened to me. I was just being cautious, and honestly, I figured I just kept checking. Nothing would ever happen. It was just my way of keeping my space safe for myself. But one night, after a long shift at work, I got home later than usual. I was beyond tired. You know the kind of tired where your eyes feel like they're just glued shut and you can barely keep your balance? Yeah, that was me. I was practically dragging my feet. I just wanted to get in bed and go to sleep. The bathroom light flickered as I entered, and for a second, I had to blink my eyes and focus again. My mind was foggy, but I knew I needed to wash up. So I turned on the faucet to splash some water on my face, brushing the exhaustion away. It had been one of those shifts, stressful, full of little annoyances that seemed to stack up on top of each other. All I wanted now was peace and quiet. But then, there was this sound, and it was soft at first, but I wasn't even sure what I was hearing. Drip. Drip, drip. I paused, letting the sound sink in, wondering if I had just imagined it or not. The faucet was running, so it couldn't have been that. It was coming from somewhere else. My heart started racing, and my mind went into overdrive. Where was it coming from? I slowly turned my head toward the shower, and then, as if something in my gut told me, I looked at the shower curtain. Now, I don't know why I did it, but I didn't check behind the curtain that night like I always did before. But that night, I didn't. Maybe I was just too tired, or maybe I thought if I checked enough times, it didn't matter. But for whatever reason, I didn't check. And that's when I heard it again. Drip, drip, drip. It was louder now. It was coming from inside the shower, dripping water onto the tiles. A cold shiver ran down my spine. I knew something wasn't right, but I didn't move. I just stood there, staring at the shower curtain. I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing up, my heartbeat thudding in my ears. I couldn't bring myself to look, but my mind was telling me that maybe I was just being paranoid and that maybe it was just my imagination. But my body wouldn't let me move. It was as if something inside of me was frozen, too scared to take the next step. Finally, I couldn't take it any longer. I turned slowly, forcing myself to pull the curtain back, to check, even though every instinct in me screamed not to. And then I saw him, a man standing there in the shower, his eyes fixed on me. His face was pale, expressionless, and his mouth was curled into a smile, a slow, unsettling smile. I froze. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I felt like time stopped. For a few seconds, I just stared at him, not sure if I was even seeing him. But there he was, and he wasn't supposed to be there. And then he spoke. His voice was so soft, almost a whisper, but it felt like I completely echoed inside my skull. And he said, "I thought you'd never look." And that was it. Those are the words that came out of his mouth. And in that moment, every rational thought left my head. I couldn't think of anything. My mind was blank. How was he there? Who was he? How did he get in? My heart was pounding in my chest, and my legs felt like they might give way beneath me. I did scream. I couldn't. I didn't know. I don't know why, but I just didn't. I ran. Didn't even look back. I sprinted out of the bathroom, slamming the door behind me. My full body was shaking as I fumbled for my phone. I had to call someone. I needed to get help. I didn't know who else to turn to, but I couldn't stay in that apartment, not after what I had just seen. So I called the police. I tried to explain everything that had happened, but when they arrived, they didn't find anything. No sign of an intruder, no sign of anyone being in my apartment at all. They checked the bathroom thoroughly, closets, cabinets, under the sink, nothing. There were no fingerprints, no footprints, no sign that anyone had been there. Just the normal wear and tear of living in an apartment. The only thing that was different was the feeling. That feeling that someone or something had been watching me. The police left, and I was left there, staring at my bathroom, wondering if it had all been some kind of a nightmare. But deep down, I knew what I saw. That man behind the shower curtain. And I've tried to tell myself it was just in my mind. It's playing tricks on me, but every time I walk into the bathroom now, I check the shower every single time because I'm scared that one day I might not look, and if I don't, what will I find? Sometimes I still hear the drip, the soft, steady drip that echoes in the silence of the night. Is the man there, or is he not? And that is the man behind the shower curtain.
That's what I was about to say. That's the name. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Yeah. The creepiness of the smile, I could see it. Like I could see it, like the guy, like looking at him with a weird, creepy smile, and then saying what he said.
No, thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We don't do it with the monsters around here.
No, sir. Oh my gosh.
Woo! Okay.
All
right. Billy, wrap us up, man.
All right. Got my last one here.
Bring the spookiness.
Ooh, okay, y'all. Y'all ready for this? This one is called The Watcher in the Corn.
Oh my God. I already hate the name.
Yep.
Ugh.
When I was 10, my cousin Elijah vanished in a cornfield behind my grandparents' farm. One second he was there, laughing, daring me to chase him between the rows, and then the next, he was just gone. No scream, no sound, just the wind. They searched for 3 days and never found a trace. Not a shoe, not a print, not even a broken stalk. They said maybe he ran off or maybe he drowned in the creek. But I know what I saw. I know what took him. And I know it's still out there. We called it the Watcher. It's not a ghost. It's not an animal. Not something that should exist. The legend's older than the farm itself. It goes back to native tribes that lived there before the fields were ever even planted. They said something was buried beneath the land. Not a body, a hunger. And every so often it wakes up. It watches. It chooses. And when it's your turn, you feel it. In your neck, in your teeth. A hum beneath your skin, like something's crawling up from inside of you. You don't run. You can't. Because if you move, it follows fast. After Elijah disappeared, my grandparents moved away. No one's farmed that land in years. But last fall, I drove back just to see it, just to know. The field was overgrown, dry husk rising up like bones. I stepped in between the rows and immediately felt it. That hum, that presence. Something was watching me. I turned fast, nothing there. But then I noticed every cornstalk around me was bent slightly, subtle, all of them facing me, like they were leaning in to listen. And from deep in the maze, I heard footsteps, slow, heavy, crunch, crunch, crunch. And then it stopped, and it whispered just one word, Elijah. I ran. I didn't look back. I didn't stop until the gravel road. But for weeks after, every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. Eyes, rows of them, watching from behind the stalks. Black, wet, smiling. And I realized something. The Watcher never left that field. It's just waits for someone else to come close enough to take its place.
Don't like that. Don't
No,
like
sir.
that.
I ain't going back. I ain't going back.
Go and get it. We're out of here.
No. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that. I love the fact that the creature in the story just is always there waiting to lure somebody into the corn with them.
Oh,
Mm.
man, oh man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. Good job. You creeped me out. All your stories tonight have like creeped me out. Even I
Oh,
know they're
good.
not. I know they're fake, but are they fake?
I don't know. We'll see. Hope
We'll
not.
find out.
Yeah.
Ooh. My microphone has attacked me. Paranormal activity going on here.
I'm telling you.
All right. That leads me to my final story of today.
Oh, bring it home, sir. Bring it home.
All right. Have you ever been in that moment where something feels off? Where your mind keeps telling you that everything's fine, but your gut knows better? That's exactly how I felt one night when I experienced something I will never forget. I was house sitting for a friend, a good friend of mine, who was out of town for the weekend. She lives in this older house on the edge of town, a place with a lot of character. It's the kind of house that has creaky floors and the windows are old fashioned, with those heavy shutters that make that satisfying thunk when you close them. It's a charming place, actually, but I'll be honest, it always gave me a little bit of a weird feeling, especially at night. The house sits on a hill surrounded by trees, and from the windows you can see the whole town spread out below. It's peaceful during the day, but when the night falls, something about the silence makes everything feel a little eerie.
Ooh.
I didn't think much about it when I arrived. I was just there to take care of the dog, water the plants, and honestly just enjoy a quiet weekend alone. It sounded like a perfect situation just for me. That evening, after I had settled in, I made myself some dinner and started watching TV. The house was dark, only lit by the soft glow of the lamps and the flicker of the TV screen. Around 9:30 p.m., I decided to take the dogs out for a walk. That's a huge mistake. Anyhow, the air was crisp and it felt good to stretch my legs. When we got back, I noticed that the windows upstairs were a little open. I figured my friend must have left them open for ventilation before she left. But as I was closing the door, something caught my eye. The window on the far side of the house, the one that faced the street, had the curtains drawn back slightly. It was a strange thing to see because I knew I had closed all the curtains when I first got there, and that's when I saw it. A figure, a silhouette, standing in the window. At first, I thought it was just a trick of the light, maybe a shadow from a tree outside swaying in the wind, but then it moved. The figure shifted slightly, as if it was adjusting its position, and I felt my heart jump into my throat. I froze. The dog who had been wagging its tail a second ago suddenly stopped, looked up at me, sensing my unease. I couldn't take my eyes off that window. The figure didn't even seem to be doing anything except standing there, perfectly still. It wasn't a person I recognized by the way it loomed there, tall, dark, and unmoving. Made me feel like I was staring at something that I shouldn't be. I blinked a few times, trying to process what I was seeing. Maybe it was just my imagination, right? Maybe it was a reflection of something from inside the house, or maybe it was just the way the curtains were fluttering in the wind. But then the figure moved again. This time it stepped back a little, as I thought it had noticed me staring. That's when my panic completely set in. It wasn't just a figure. It wasn't just my mind playing tricks. Someone was in that window, and they were watching me. I don't know what made me do it, but I ran to the side of the house trying to get a better angle, hoping to see something more. I could still see the faint outline of the figure in the window, but there was no movement now, just stillness again. My mind raced, trying to come up with a logical explanation. Maybe it was a neighbor's silhouette. Maybe there was some other reason. It looked like someone else was standing there. But I knew deep down, I wasn't imagining it. I had seen someone or something watching me from the window. I don't know how much time passed, but the more I stood there, the more I started to feel like I was being watched from every corner of the house. I decided to call my friend and ask her if she knew anything that would have been inside the house if there was something I was missing. She didn't answer, so I left a voicemail and then sent a quick text saying I was a little freaked out. But before I could send a message, I heard something that made my blood run cold, a knock. It wasn't a knock on the door, it was on the window. I didn't know where it had come from, but it was loud enough to be heard from across the room. I turned to face the sound, my heart racing, but there was no one at the window. I quickly checked the front door to make sure it was locked, just in case, but there was nothing, no one, yet that feeling of being watched didn't go away. I couldn't get the figure out of my head. I walked back to the living room, trying to get everything to settle down in my brain, but I kept glancing at the windows, half expecting to see the shadow standing there again. The dog was lying on the floor, but it kept its eyes trained on the door the entire time. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my phone and called the police. I explained everything, how I'd seen someone in the window, how I'd heard the loud knock, and then asked them to send someone over to check things out. It took them about 20 minutes to arrive, but when they did, I gave them a tour of the house. They checked all the doors, all the windows, the yard, and there was no sign of forced entry, no sign that anyone had been there at all. They reassured me it was probably just someone messing around, and maybe it was a reflection from a tree or a neighbor. I didn't believe them. I couldn't. But they left, and I locked the house up even tighter than before. Still, that nagging feeling didn't go away. I kept glancing out the windows, expecting to see that figure again. But the house remained quiet. I didn't sleep much that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I could see that silhouette in the window. And that thought of being someone or something standing there just filled me with such dread. The next morning, I was determined to get to the bottom of it. I checked every window, every room, every nook and cranny, hoping to find some kind of clue. But there was nothing. No sign that anyone had been there. No footprints in the dirt, no fingerprints on the glass, just a quiet house. When my friend came home that evening, I tried to tell her everything that had happened, but she just laughed it off. She said the house played tricks on people sometimes, and maybe it was just a reflection of a shadow or from the trees again. I didn't mention again, but I knew what I had seen that night. And to this day, every time I'm near that house, whether I'm visiting or just passing by, I can't help but glance up at that window, and I still wonder what or who was standing there watching me that night. Bum, bum.
Oh. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Ugh. And then the knock again. Remind me of your story about the knocking person.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'd got this stuff together the last 2 days story, and I've read it a couple of times through. But reading it out loud and then thinking back about your story, it just creeped me out a little bit. So. Yeah, but there are so many different campfire stories that we could tell, but these are some ones, and I had no idea what Billy picked. He had no idea what I picked, so I'm glad we didn't pick the same thing on accident.
Yeah.
That would have been awkward for you.
Yeah.
No. But that was good. That was good. Did you have fun with it?
I did. I thought this was a fun. I thought this would be a neat episode, especially having our history, and all that stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Great one for the summer series to get the summer going.
Yes.
Absolutely love this one as well. It made me go searching for creepier and creepier stories. So, and I got plenty left. We can definitely do another campfire stories next year for our summer series. But until then, so thank you guys for joining us today. I hope you guys are enjoying our summer series. Again, we tried to make them mini, but we just keep letting things get longer and longer.
Yep. That's what she said.
If there's time, if there's time, we will fill it as much as we can. But anyhow, again, thanks for joining us today. I hope you guys had fun. I hope we spooked you out a little bit. And we can't wait to see you next time for another amazing episode of All the Everything Podcast. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, y'all.